Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back. We are actually not going to be starting with the forecast right away. Just we're going to be briefly discussing what unfolded yesterday. Unfortunately, the risk of hail and, more importantly, tornadoes was realized yesterday. In fact, more severely than even I anticipated. There were several tornadoes that occurred in southwestern Michigan, which is the region that I believed would be most favorable, but the severity of these tornadoes was more than I expected. There have been at least two tornadoes. I do believe the tornado that occurred near Edwardsburg, Michigan, is separate than the tornado that impacted Three Rivers and the tornado that impacted parts of Union City. And I do believe that the Union City and the Three Rivers tornadoes were also separate tornadoes, though it is possible that those two were the same tornado. Um, However, damage surveys that are ongoing now will confirm or deny that. Now, we do have some photos here posted on the National Weather Service webpage that we will look at. In the first image here on the page from 517 Drone Video and Photography is it's a drone shot of the damage that occurred to a neighborhood on Union Lake near Union City. And this is some incredible damage. There are homes that are completely destroyed, and unfortunately, there was loss of life in this area. There have been reported at least 3 fatalities from this tornado, and I do believe that this damage is in the violent range. Of course, damage surveys will confirm, but this to me looks high end EF3 to potentially low end EF4 intensity. This is another shot from, I believe it was, yes, Ryan Harriet, on the ground in that area right on Union Lake, just offering another perspective of the damage. And then this is an image from Drew Brummel of the actual tornado itself. So it was a pretty strong, pretty big tornado. There was also a fatality associated with the Edwardsburg tornado, so that brings the total in Michigan up to 4, unfortunately. And then this photo right here is damage to the Menards in Three Rivers, submitted to the Weather Service by Riley Cass. The tornadoes were not the only thing that verified, though. In the Lansing area, we did get reports of hail up to 1 inch in diameter, or even a little bit larger. Some of these stones here do look a little bit larger. And this image was from a WLNS article here, in which they credit Nicole Martin of Lansing. So, yeah, there were several hail reports, and also further up the article, they do talk about flooding, and I can confirm that there was some pretty significant flooding in the Lansing area from all that rain that fell. In fact, this intersection here, right in this image, they ended up closing down the I believe it was the exit ramp just because of how much water. Yeah, exit 78. Oh, hold on. Well, how ironic is that? Yeah, sorry. We just had the first Saturday of the month test sirens go off, so I got distracted for a bit there, but I mean that's kind of topical, unfortunately. But as I was saying, my mother and I were out driving, and took this exit probably not long before it got shut down, and I can confirm it was flooded pretty bad. We even said, "Ooh, I don't think many other people are going to be able to make it through that before that becomes impassable." So some of that flooding was pretty bad. Now we can take a look at our 500 millibar chart here. This, of course, is the trough that was responsible for the severe weather episode that occurred yesterday. And it wasn't just Michigan, although Michigan, I do believe, did get the worst of it tornado-wise yesterday, actually. But there were some tornadoes down in Oklahoma as well. I know there were some in the Tulsa area, and I believe that there were some fatalities down there as well. But this trough is going to start to move out of the area. It may bring some more rain later this evening to our area, but we thankfully look to be done with severe weather for for the time being. Now, this system, as it moves on this evening, is expected to produce more severe storms off to the east, but most of that should occur past our area here in Lansing. Now, after this trough moves out, we are expecting to enter a sort of nice straight zonal flow here, which should bring some calm weather in the coming days. Now let's look at the 700 millibar chart just to make sure there's not any differences, not any subtle short waves that are going to be making their way in, and maybe a tiny little shortwave trough there as we head into tomorrow evening, but by the time that kind of gets into Michigan, it doesn't really look like much at all. So I still feel confident in saying that we have a calm stretch of weather incoming. Now looking at the 850 millibar chart, much of the same. We do have a trough kind of mixed in here, a shortwave tomorrow morning, kind of on the northern side of this little flow pattern. But again, I think that will have an impact more to our north and not really impact our area as much. So now let's head at the surface. We do have that low pressure system off to our north, or excuse me, I was looking at the past. That's way off to our northeast now. And that cold front, while it is nice and warm right now, the temperature is going to start dropping through the day as that cold front passes through. So unfortunately, the warm weather that feels really nice right now is not going to last. At least, not immediately. We will have some warmer weather coming back into the area later. In fact, as soon as tomorrow, things could be starting to look more and more on the up and up. And I do believe Monday? Hold on, let me check. Yes, Monday. Beyond our forecast period here, because this goes out just to Monday morning, but Monday afternoon is supposed to be quite warm. And that does make sense, as you can see some of these winds out of the southwest here starting to bring that warmer air up into our area, thanks to this little low pressure system off to the north. And I do believe that that will bring in some nice warmer weather for the day, though unfortunately this thing will probably have another cold front behind it, so it probably will just be for the day. So now let's zoom in and actually take a look at our highs and lows here. So we are currently in the 60s, I think low to mid 60s at the current moment. In fact, we can check really quick. Just refresh this. Yeah, it's currently 65 at the airport in Lansing, so that does check out. Of course, that cold front will sweep through, so by 7 p.m., we look to already be down into the mid 40s. Yeah. Excuse me. And by 7 a.m. tomorrow, we will be back in the low to mid 30s. So, unfortunate, but through the day tomorrow, it will start to warm back up a little bit. And I do believe tomorrow should achieve a high temperature near the kind of in the mid to upper 50s. So even though that cold front's going to come in and really cool things off during the morning, it's still going to be relatively pleasant in the afternoon, at least for this time of year. It's not going to be as nice as right now. It's not going to be as nice as Monday, but for early March in Michigan, it's still going to be relatively pleasant. Now, as we head overnight, the temperatures do cool off a little bit, but even as we head into Monday morning, the temperatures have only cooled down to the low 40s. So, as that warm air continues to surge upwards, especially as we head into Monday afternoon, I do expect that we will see temperatures reach back into the mid, perhaps even upper 60s. Now we'll take a look at precipitation, and again, the worst of these storms are over. The worst of it's past. However, we are still expecting some lingering showers to move through later this afternoon, but they won't be here for long, maybe just a couple hours at most. And then they will move off, and for the entire day tomorrow, we look nice and dry, and even into Monday morning, we look nice and dry. Now we can take a look at some of the individual members to get more details, just to be sure. Excuse me, a little hiccup. And yeah, you can see some little bands of rain moving through the area through the afternoon. but all of the storms are south and east of us now. They are through our area. We are done with them. And then, of course, this does confirm or seem to hint that we will remain dry for the rest of the period, although it does show some rain kind of around the Grand Rapids area there. Now, that's just one member. I'll just kind of breeze through the others. We do see some precipitation to our north, but that doesn't really concern us. Yes, these show similar things for today. Very similar for today and moving forward. That is very similar as well. I think these are all pretty much showing the same thing, so yeah. Although this one does have a tiny bit of rain reaching down into our area tomorrow. But for the most part, the vast majority of these models keep us dry for the remainder of the period after this afternoon. But even this afternoon, we're just looking at a little bit more rain. And not a ton more, just a little bit more. So we get to breathe a little bit. I do think that just in general, for the next, within the next week, we do have more rain coming at some point. But just in general, for the next couple days, we're going to have a little bit more rain this afternoon, but we are going to have some time to breathe. Now we can move on to wind. We do have some wind in the area. Right now, maximum sustained winds are potentially up to 15 to 20 miles per hour. And those will hang around until we get around evening time, where they will start to calm down a bit. And as we head into tomorrow morning, the maximum sustained wind should be down to around 10 or so miles per hour. Though early tomorrow afternoon, they will pick up again. Perhaps right around the same area as now, kind of in around that 20 mile per hour mark. But then they will once again dissipate as we head into tomorrow evening. Or at least not necessarily dissipate, but significantly, well, even not significantly, but lessen. They will lessen. But now we can take a look at our wind gusts. So currently, with some of these stronger gusts are around 30 or so miles per hour. Those will continue through up until the evening, where those winds will begin to die down. They will hit kind of like a minimum in the early morning hours, around 20 or so miles per hour, before building back as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Again, those strongest gusts reaching 35, perhaps 40 miles per hour at times. And then again, as we head into the evening, they start to wane, although they build back right as the sun sets. Early evening, they will wane just a bit, and then they will build back as we head to the later part of the evening. Again, 35 to 40 mile per hour gusts will be possible, and that will remain to be the case as we head into Monday morning. Last but not least, we will get into cloud cover. It is cloudy right now, and that will remain to be the case for the rest of the day today. Though as we head into the overnight early morning hours, the skies will clear out, and it will be fairly clear tomorrow morning. And as we head through the day tomorrow and into the early afternoon, it will just clear even more. At some points it will be, at least at most points even, it will be completely clear. Now we will have some clouds starting to move in the late afternoon into the evening. Still mostly clear, but we will have some clouds moving in. And it appears that by Monday morning, they will be back out of the area, and we will once again be looking at mostly, if not completely clear skies. Thank you for watching today, and see you tomorrow.